for today is a description of the beginning of the public ministry of the Lord. This is how Jesus began his mission. Jesus started in Galilee, and from Galilee he went to his hometown of Nazareth. He grew up in Nazareth, although he was born in Bethlehem. But Nazareth is the place where Mary and Joseph lived. We heard today the ministry of the Lord and how it looked like in the beginning. Everybody who heard the Lord praised him. Everybody who listened to the Lord, they were amazed at the gracious words that came from his mouth, and they listened attentively, they listened intently every time the Lord spoke in the synagogue. You will notice that part of the gospel today is a passage from the book of Isaiah in the Old Testament. This, in a nutshell, my dear brothers and sisters, is the personal mission statement of the Lord. I'm sure many of us are familiar with what we call the mission vision statement. Many institutions, many establishments, companies all over, they have their mission statement, they have their vision statement. And there are also many people who have written their personal mission statement. Let us look again and let us read again the personal mission statement of the Lord. And let us try to find out what is the reason the Lord is sent forth by the Father. Part of what the Lord read from the book of Isaiah says, and I quote, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me. He has anointed me to bring glad tidings to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim liberty to captives, recovery of sight to the blind, to let the oppressed go free, and to proclaim a year that is acceptable to the Lord." My dear brothers and sisters, his gracious words brought hope and joy. His gracious words brought hope and joy and favor to those who were ready to receive him. In his own land of Galilee, where he was reared from his youth in Nazareth, and Jesus proclaimed the fulfillment of the messianic prophecy of Isaiah, brought wonder to his kin and townsfolk. My dear brothers and sisters, as we reflect on this particular gospel reading, and I was reading it again last night before I went to bed, I was reminded of my mission assignment when I was a newly ordained priest in 1985. We were 13 ordained in our class, and each of us, it is a tradition in the SVD, each of us would receive our mission appointment, our mission assignment. We were given the opportunity by the SVD to articulate, to verbalize our preferences in what the SVD calls petitio missiones. Petitio missiones. And we were given the chance to suggest, to propose 3 countries where we would like to go and preach the gospel as young Divine Word missionaries. I remember writing the following countries. My first choice was to go to Colombia in South America. My second choice was the Philippines. My third choice was Chile. We were also asked to propose the kind of apostolate or ministry that we wanted to engage ourselves in. And I remember writing, number 1, educational apostolate. Number 2, educational apostolate. And number 3, educational apostolate. To make the long story short, I was appointed to stay in the Philippines. I was asked to proceed to the University of San Carlos, where I stayed for 32 productive and happy years of missionary life. My dear brothers and sisters, each of us can recall a beginning of the time when you started working, when you started practicing your profession. Of course, we are not all priests, we are not all missionaries. I'd like to invite you to go back to the day when you started to practice your profession for the first time as a lawyer, as a teacher, as an engineer, even as a policeman, even as a carpenter, even as a store owner, even as a housewife, as a doctor, whatever. Go back to the roots. Go back to the basics. Recapture the zeal. Recapture the memories, the beautiful memories when you were first trying to find yourself in the middle of the profession or career or vocation you wanted to insert yourself in. Go back to the original fire, especially if the fire is not there anymore, especially if the fire is not blinking anymore. Ask the Lord that you be able to recapture the zest, the enthusiasm, the joy, the peace, the favor, and everything that you wish and everything that you pray for, so that each of us may be able to fulfill joyfully, humbly, and generously our particular vocation and mission on earth. I was called to be a priest. I was called to be a missionary. Some of you were called to be housewives, or doctors, or teachers, or lawyers, or businessmen, or professionals, or politicians, or whatever. Go back to the original fire and ask the Lord to ignite your hearts again. Amen. Let us all rise.